John J. Ray III has spent 40 years cleaning up the biggest corporate messes in history. He was the man who oversaw the liquidation of Enron. He's seen it all. But in November 2022, when he stepped into the offices of a crypto exchange called FTX, he said something that sent shivers down Wall Street's spine. "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls." These weren't the words of a random commentator. They came from John J. Ray III, the seasoned attorney who cleaned up the colossal mess of Enron. He was brought in to salvage what was left of the FTX crypto empire, and what he found was staggering. This is worse than Enron. Far worse. Enron, for all its fraud, had sophisticated, albeit corrupt, accounting. FTX, a $32 billion global enterprise, was run on QuickBooks, with executives approving invoices with emojis. There were no board meetings, no reliable records, just a black hole where billions of dollars of customer money used to be. It was a level of amateurism so profound it looked like a deliberate smokescreen. So, how did this happen? How did a 30-year-old math nerd who famously slept on a beanbag chair convince the entire world he was the next Warren Buffett? This wasn't just some rogue trader. This was the face of crypto, the friendly, disheveled genius who was supposed to make it safe for the masses. He built an image of unimpeachable brilliance, a brand so powerful it attracted the biggest names in sports, comedy, and finance. How did he get Tom Brady, Larry David, and the sharpest minds from the MIT elite to not just endorse him, but to hand him an astonishing $32 billion, only to watch it all evaporate in a single, catastrophic weekend? This isn't just a story about a market crash or a company that failed. Those happen. This is different. This is a story about a curated lie, a meticulously crafted illusion of a boy genius, too smart and too pure to be corrupted by money, who was secretly gambling with it all from the very beginning. To understand the lie, you have to go back to its source. Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF, wasn't your typical crypto bro. He was a physics major from MIT, the son of two Stanford law professors. He presented himself as a reluctant participant in the crypto world, someone who hated the fluff and the hype of the industry. He was here for the math, the elegant inefficiencies he could exploit. His first major breakthrough, the one that built his legend, came from a simple but powerful market observation. It was an arbitrage opportunity known as the Kimchi Premium. Back in 2017, the crypto markets were fragmented and inefficient. Due to high demand and strict capital controls in South Korea, Bitcoin was trading for 10%, sometimes even 30% more there and in Japan than it was in the United States. It was a pure, risk-free profit for anyone who could figure out how to bridge the gap. So Sam founded Alameda Research, a quantitative trading firm, specifically to exploit this. He wasn't investing in Bitcoin's future or believing in the technology. He was simply arbitrage trading, buying low in one place and selling high in another, simultaneously. It was a money machine, powered by logic. The logistics were a nightmare, involving a complex web of international bank accounts and shell companies. But they cracked it. At its peak, Alameda was moving a staggering $25 million a day between countries, skimming millions in profit. Before he was 26 years old, Sam Bankman-Fried was a millionaire many times over. But for him, the money itself wasn't the end goal. It was the fuel for a much grander and far more dangerous idea. Sam didn't just want to be rich, he wanted to be good, and he subscribed to a philosophy that gave him a framework for both. Effective altruism, or EA. On the surface, the idea is simple and noble. Use evidence and reason to figure out how to benefit others as much as possible. For SBF, this translated into a concept called earning to give. Make as much money as you possibly can, even in morally gray areas, so you can eventually give it all away to save the world from pandemics or rogue AI. This philosophy, however, became his moral license. It was a justification to take extreme, reckless risks with other people's money. The logic was seductive and perilous. Any action, no matter how risky, could be justified if the potential upside was a greater good for humanity. In his mind, the math was simple. If he had a 51% chance of doubling his money that could one day cure diseases or prevent extinction, and a 49% chance of it all going to zero, he had a moral obligation to take that bet. Every single time. This wasn't just a trading strategy. It was a worldview, and it would lead him and the entire crypto industry to the edge of a cliff. In 2019, Sam Bankman-Fried launched FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange that promised to be the safest and most innovative platform on the market. By 2021, seeking a friendlier regulatory climate and a picture-perfect backdrop for his growing empire, he moved the company's headquarters from Hong Kong to the Bahamas. It was a move that cemented FTX's image as a revolutionary force in finance, operating from a tropical paradise. There, Sam and his inner circle, a group of 9 of his closest friends and colleagues, shared a sprawling $40 million penthouse. This wasn't just their home. It was the nerve center of a multi-billion-dollar operation. The lines between work and life were completely erased. They coded, traded, and managed the company 24/7, fueled by ambition and a shared, unconventional lifestyle. It was a bizarre, high-pressure environment. They were all in their 20s, mostly brilliant minds from MIT and elite trading firms. But inside the penthouse, professional hierarchy dissolved into a complex web of personal relationships. They were all dating each other in what was later described as a polyamorous arrangement. At the center of it were Sam and Caroline Ellison, the CEO of his trading firm, Alameda Research. This tangled social dynamic meant that personal loyalties and professional responsibilities were dangerously intertwined, and they were all in charge of billions of dollars of other people's money. This small, insular group of friends held the keys to a financial kingdom, making decisions that affected millions of users worldwide, all from the comfort of their shared beachside commune. But beneath the surface of this utopian crypto paradise, a critical vulnerability was being exploited. There was a secret, known only to Sam's inner circle. His co-founder and chief technology officer, Gary Wang, had coded a secret backdoor into the FTX software. This was not a bug, it was a deliberately engineered feature. To understand how devastating this was, you need to know how exchanges are supposed to work. Normally, if a trader borrows money to make a bet, and that bet goes wrong, the system has an automatic safety switch. If their losses reach a certain point, their position is automatically liquidated or shut down to prevent them from losing more money than they have. This protects both the trader and the exchange itself from catastrophic losses. But Sam's hedge fund, Alameda Research, was given a special exemption. Thanks to Gary Wang's code, Alameda's accounts were flagged with a feature called Allow Negative. This meant the automatic safety switch was turned off. Alameda could lose and keep on losing without ever being stopped. This backdoor effectively gave Alameda a secret, unlimited line of credit. While every other user on FTX had to play by the rules, Alameda was allowed to have a negative balance that eventually ballooned to an astonishing $65 billion. So where did this money come from? Essentially, when Alameda lost billions on its own risky trades, Sam Bankman-Fried allowed them to simply reach into the FTX cookie jar, which wasn't the company's money, but the collective savings of millions of regular users, and take whatever they needed to cover their losses. It was one of the largest financial frauds in history, hidden in plain sight. The end began on November 2, 2022. A leaked balance sheet showed that Alameda's billions weren't in dollars or Bitcoin. They were in FTT, a token Sam had literally printed out of thin air. Then came the assassin strike. Changpeng Zhao, CZ, the CEO of Binance and Sam's biggest rival, tweeted that he was selling his $500 million stake in FTT. It was a digital bank run. November 7th, SBF tweets, "FTX is fine. Assets are fine." He knew this was a lie. November 8th, FTX pauses withdrawals. People realize their money is gone. November 11th, FTX files for Chapter 11, bankruptcy. Sam Bankman-Fried, the man who was going to save the world, resigned in disgrace. By the fall of 2023, the stage was set for one of the most anticipated white-collar crime trials in recent history. The crypto world, and indeed the entire financial industry, held its breath. But for Sam Bankman-Fried, the most devastating blow wouldn't come from prosecutors or regulators. It came from the very people he had trusted the most. His inner circle. One by one, his closest confidants took the stand to testify against him. Gary Wang, the quiet co-founder of FTX, Nishad Singh, the director of engineering, and most damningly, Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research and Sam's on and off girlfriend. Facing decades in prison themselves, they had all accepted plea deals in exchange for their cooperation. They were the prosecution's star witnesses, and their stories painted a damning picture of deceit orchestrated from the very top. Caroline's testimony was explosive. She told the jury that the public image of FTX was a carefully constructed lie. Behind the scenes, she claimed, Sam had directed her to create 7 different sets of fake balance sheets. Their purpose? To conceal a multi-billion-dollar hole in Alameda's finances from its lenders, a hole created by borrowing and losing FTX customer funds. She testified, quote, "I was terrified. This was the first time I had been directed to prepare a balance sheet that was dishonest." Gary Wang corroborated this, testifying that he had coded a secret backdoor that allowed Alameda to withdraw virtually unlimited funds from FTX, a privilege no other customer had. When Sam took the stand in his own defense, his strategy was to portray himself not as a criminal mastermind, but as a well-intentioned but bad manager who simply got overwhelmed by his company's rapid growth. He claimed he didn't know the specifics of Alameda's finances and didn't realize the extent of the commingled funds until it was too late. He tried to deflect blame, often answering questions with, "I don't recall." The jury didn't buy it. After just 4 hours of deliberation, they returned a verdict. Guilty on all 7 counts, including wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. In March 2024, Judge Lewis Kaplan delivered the sentence. He condemned Sam's unprecedented greed and handed down a sentence of 25 years in federal prison. In his scathing remarks, the judge noted that Sam showed no remorse for his crimes. He pointed out that even after his arrest, while under house arrest, Sam was actively trying to tamper with witnesses, a clear sign of his exceptional flexibility with the truth. But the story has a strange, final twist. As of 2024, the victims of FTX are on track to see nearly all of their money back, a rare outcome in a bankruptcy case of this scale. This wasn't due to any brilliant recovery plan by Sam. It was pure luck. The bankruptcy estate's value was massively boosted because the price of AI stocks Sam had bought with stolen money, most notably a $500 million investment in the AI startup Anthropic, skyrocketed in value. His reckless gamble, made with other people's money, happened to pay off after he'd already been caught. Sam didn't save them, the market did. The story of SBF is a warning. We often mistake complexity for genius. We assume that because someone is a math nerd who wears cargo shorts and plays video games, they must be authentic. But behind the beanbags and the effective altruism was the oldest story in finance: greed, fraud, and the hubris of a man who thought he was too smart to get caught. Was SBF a monster or just a gambler who lost? If you want to see the rise of the man who took him down, CZ of Binance, subscribe and click the next video.